Pro Wrestling Podcast.
What? No, yes.
Absolutely.
Distraction. Too many distractions.
What does that mean?
Shoosh! Yes, sir.
Lana is the best. Lana number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one. Knee to the face.
Welcome to the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name's Tommy Stryker. Joining me today is Taco.
What up?
Joe's here as well.
What's up?
And we are here to talk about the best pro wrestling in the world. Lots to talk about this week, of course.
What a week it's been. So much to talk about.
Yeah, we got Raw, Smackdown, NXT, the usual stuff. Got a big New Japan show coming up this weekend. We talked about that over on Strong Honor this week. We just got done recording that not too long ago here, so we went into full detail and predictions and all of that stuff. Talked about the Road 2 shows going up to the big show this coming weekend on the 10th. So check that out over on Strong Honor.
And we sprinkled some Ring of Honor on top.
Absolutely. Talked this week's Ring of Honor TV. We talked about the Honor Club.
Yeah.
Coming out, Ring of Honor's streaming service where you can see all their house shows, shows from the past pay-per-views, and, of course, all the upcoming pay-per-views if you pay the VIP premium price of $120 a year, which
Worth
is
it.
the same price as the $10 a month. You just got to pay it all up front. So we get into all of that over there on Strong Honor. So we got plenty to talk about this week. If we got some time, maybe we'll squeeze in a little New Japan stuff right here on today's show too, because that's some big matches coming up this weekend for New Japan. We got Okada taking on Sonata, challenging him for the IWGP Heavyweight title, and then Evil's challenging Hiroaki Goto for the Never Openweight, and Ospreay's defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship versus Hiromu Takahashi. So it's a big Los Ingobernables de Japón versus Chaos kind of thing going on this week, or this coming weekend for New Japan. Not a ton of Bullet Club stuff going on, so if
they're just crumbling right now.
Yeah, if that's what you're into, there's not a lot going on since the big reemergence of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi getting back together, and no further information on the the definite breakup between Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and the rift in the Bullet Club. Of course, we did have the big announcement, and here we are. We said we were going to talk WWE stuff, but I'm on a roll. We did have the big announcement that it is going to be Cody versus Kenny Omega at Super Card of Honor on WrestleMania weekend for Ring of Honor.
The start of a couple matches.
And so far, it's the highest selling house that they've had for Ring of Honor. They're up around 38,000 sold when I was just looking a few minutes ago. So, or not 38,000, 38. Sorry, 3,800. 3,800. Their biggest house was last year WrestleMania weekend, which was 2,500. So they're
God, that's all that was?
Yep.
Wow.
So, and then I don't remember what the
what an environment to see Hardys and Bucks.
Right.
God.
Well, and the show that I was at in Chicago was a bigger show, but I don't think it got anywhere near. It might have been 2,000, maybe 1,500, but I don't think it was 25. But it was a nice building either way. So we get into all of the New Japan stuff over on Strong Honor. Make sure you check that out if that's something you're curious about, because it's a show that not only caters to the fans that are following it, but if you're kind of curious or are new to the products, we try to make it accessible for you as well. So let's see what else I wanted to. I thought there was some other stuff I wanted to get into before we got into some other stuff, but whatever.
We'll just go with the flow.
Things will come up as we go along. We're not going to do a news thing right off the bat this week because there's really nothing like pressing that we need to get to right away. But let's just jump in. We want to talk about the things that everybody wants to talk about. Let's talk Monday Night Raw.
Wrestling.
Monday Night Raw!
Thought we were going to talk about those crunchless chips for women.
Chaps! What is this? What are you talking about? Crunchless chips for women?
Doritos are making like a personal size to fit in your purse, and they're gonna be like not as crispy and make a crunch noise, and everyone's like, that's the stupidest fucking thing.
Yes.
Doritos. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a chip fanatic, and I'm angry for them.
Are they going to be chewy?
Right? That's what I'm like, what the
what
fuck,
are they gonna
Doritos?
be?
Like, that's the part of a chap is the fucking crunch.
If you listen to the, if you're new to the show, by the way, thank you for checking out the show.
I like chips.
We try to throw an Easter egg in at the end of every show, and a couple of weeks back, there was one where Taco went on this thing about chips, and so now it's a running joke. Well, not a joke, it's a thing. It's a Taco loves chips.
I love chips.
Who'd have thought a guy named Taco would love chips?
I have been bitching about it on Twitter, like it's just crunchless chips.
HGREV Taco for that hot take, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you like a crunchless taco? What the fuck?
I like a good soft taco.
Right, I don't want a soggy taco.
I don't want your soggy taco. All right, what are we doing here? Let's
Raw.
I liked Raw. There a lot of these matches. They're not just throwing out there for nothing. There's matches for reasons. They're elimination chamber qualifiers. It's who's going to be the last entrant in the elimination
And
chamber.
they're good matches for Raw. They're not just quick one and dones.
So all those matches that mean something, unless you're a woman, of course, then you just have a sexist general manager throw just whoever he names into the elimination chamber. I did like that, by the way, that Alexa Bliss comes out and accuses Kurt Angle of being sexist, not for not having qualifying matches, but for making her defend her championship that she hasn't defended since October, of all things. I don't know if that's something they want to bring up on the TV show.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
It's her character too. It just adds to the hate that Alexa Bliss is building. She just keeps building that hate. Why not bring that up and be like, well, she hasn't kind of defended it at all.
I had no idea it hadn't been since October. That's obnoxious.
Is that a good or bad thing, though? Because usually we're all like, oh, this fucking person hasn't even touched anything in a month. And, like, here she is just squeaking by. Like,
well, it's
heelish, though. It's pursuing.
It is, but it also, like, turned all the butthurt people over to Naomi's Twitter account. Like, hey, remember when they stripped you of the title because you got hurt there and you weren't going to be able to defend it within 30 days? And so
fucking WWE logic. Let's let it go.
Exactly. All right, this week's Raw, Bray versus Roman Reigns in an Elimination Chamber qualifier. Of course, Reigns wins with the spear. He says he sets his sight on the Universal title for the first time. So now we are getting Roman focusing on that championship. Before, it's been about the Intercontinental title. It's been about all of these other things. It's only been a rumor. It's been the internet talking. It's going to be Brock versus Reigns at WrestleMania, blah, 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 blah. So now we're finally getting Roman talking about that goal. So now it has been established. Of course, Reigns getting into the match. A good match for a Bray Wyatt match, I thought.
Well, the commentary was just on the ball for me on this one because they just kept bringing up the history and the physical matches. Because, again, one of the better times that we enjoyed Roman Reigns in the ring was actually when he was in the ring with Bray Wyatt. They had chemistry. And like you said, I mean, it wasn't like an overwhelming match, but it was a good match.
The other Elimination Chamber qualifier, The Miz versus Apollo Crews. Another good match.
Crews looked really good.
I like that finishing sequence going back and forth, attempting each other's finishers and stuff. Miz getting the skull-crushing finale after crotching Apollo on the top rope. So again, even though he gets technically the clean win with his skull-crushing finale, just a little dig of dropping him on the top rope right on his balls so that he can get the win. So
right in the ding-ding?
Yeah, I was going to go for something like that, but it
no ding-ding for you.
Skullduggery.
I guess not. Anyway, so yeah, Miz qualifies, and then so next week we're going to get the losers bracket. Basically, we got what was
Balor, Wyatt, Cruz,
Cruz, and one other.
Clint Dix.
Clinton Dix.
I had it written down. Clinton Dix. Matt Hardy is the other one. So, yeah, 4-way for the last chance at the last spot in the Elimination Chamber.
I hate to say I'm really not rooting for Balor in this situation.
Well, that's the thing. If Roman's going to win, why put Balor in the thing just so he can lose? But where do you put Balor? Do you put Balor, you put him in the Intercontinental situation? Miz needs something to do, I suppose.
Yeah, there's that rumor going around. I don't know what to do with Balor if you don't put him in there, but I don't know. Just kind of that little feud that's going on between Hardy and Wyatt. It's like, well, that's a good spot to have them as in the middle of Elimination Chamber to kind of continue their shit going on.
Right.
So what's the situation going on that? And I don't know. I just unless Balor wins it, I don't see the Elimination Chamber doing anything for him.
I don't see him losing like any momentum really, though, being in the Elimination Chamber, because it's not a one-on-one situation. He could lose in some fluky fuckery kind of way almost, and I don't think he would lose too much momentum it wouldn't be like Kane beating him clean on Raw like from a couple of months ago, even though he didn't really lose much momentum from that either. I think there's still a really good part of the crowd that's behind him. He's over. He's got his quote over t-shirts. He's doing his thing with the with Anderson and Gallows again. Brothers. So I like him.
Well, also, I hope it's just only for house shows, but they've been teaming him up with Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, because of the Jason Jordan injury situation. Didn't talk about that yet. Yep. That was the other big story from Monday Night Raw. It was supposed to be Jordan and Rollins teaming up to take on the Bar one more time, last chance to get the championships. And, of course, Jason Jordan's been he was not cleared to wrestle in storyline and had some surgery in real life. Not sure, hasn't really been officially reported at how long the guy's going to be out for, but they've pretty much written him out. Kurt Angle told him to go home. This was, of course, after the match that Rollins and Reigns had versus the Bar. That was I thought that was a cool last-minute thing with Reigns kind of just stepping up from the side, getting in on that match. And
nothing was said. They just nod to each other and go out to the ring.
Yeah,
it was a good moment.
Had his little man bun
They've
going.
They've been really killing it with the ever since the kind of, I don't want to say relaunch, but kind of the re-image at post Rumble. It's been the backstage segments like this have been on point, not awkward or a clusterfuck. They transition very, very well and tell a story in the back leading to the matches. So these moments have been fucking great on Raw lately for the last 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. I mean, I'm still on the pet peeves kind of a thing where the backstage segments in general, just the presentation of them bother me. But I agree with you that they are setting up nice story things going forward, and they're not as skitty as they could be sometimes, where it's just like this obvious, obnoxious skit or whatever. So.
Right.
I want to go back to technically the losers bracket match. I think it's going to be more of an Apollo Crews or a Matt Hardy. You need in the Elimination Chamber, you need one of two things. You either need a wild card or you need somebody that you can build but can easily take a pin from somebody in an important situation.
Sure.
So I really see one of those two getting into the chamber just to be that wild card in there.
See, I'm with you on the Wyatt or Cruz in that situation because, Wyatt just had his first giant win one last year.
And it's interesting, too, with it being a four-way, Finn doesn't even have to take a pinfall to lose the four-way, too. Mm-hmm. So you can lose the four-way, not get into the chamber, and then whoever gets... Right. If an Apollo Crews gets in the chamber, or Matt Hardy, or Bray Wyatt, if any of those guys gets into the chamber, well, if they get beat in the chamber, it's certainly not a big deal. Bray Wyatt loses most of his matches. Apollo Crews is part of Titus Worldwide, which is basically a loser bracket deal, but is over nonetheless.
Worldwide.
Same thing with Matt Hardy. He's gotten beat a couple of times now by Bray Wyatt, but it feels like the Matt Hardy thing is losing some momentum now. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? I feel like it's...
I kind of agree with you, but in the sense that they're not doing anything. Like, we need to let them be what they are.
Yeah.
Bray and Matt being specific, but Matt himself, I mean, what made it so great was, like, he got a lot of time on Impact. Yeah. That was the thing, is he had the time to work that out.
There was
the best thing,
and there was something different every week too. Whereas it's kind of been the same thing for about a month now. It feels like with
and I think the Jeff Hardy injury obviously really put a kink in it a little bit because you can't follow up with the Brother Nero story. You couldn't do the feud between them, which could have been a whole storyline in itself, leading into him with Jeff and going against Bray Wyatt or going against these people.
That's certainly true, but I mean that's no reason why you can't just go all in with Matt Hardy. But in the meantime, you don't need the Brother Nero to.
You gotta set him up as the woken force he is. He wasn't just with Brother Nero overnight. This was a long, drawn out process. I mean, it was the start of him being the broken character, Twitter and YouTube, and then live events, and it ended up on Impact. But everyone was like, Matt Hardy lost his fucking mind. You gotta watch this. Like, some people thought he really lost his fucking mind.
And it was like appointment television. Well, it was appointment. Go on YouTube and watch the clips because nobody was watching. Even though it was an Impact thing, like everybody was watching it on YouTube. Nobody was nobody was going to Pop TV. It was watch the clips on YouTube, which was it makes for an interesting argument. Like, why bother going all in with Matt Hardy if it's just going to be for clips on YouTube? Why not just throw the character out there and see if you can draw some interest with it? Which it's not really doing. So we'll see how it goes going.
You just need
forward.
to do something with them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the only issue.
It's been
like,
stalled out. Yeah.
I have no issue with the weeks upon weeks of just laughing insanity. That's part of the charm of it. It's just fucking get something going. That's why these two guys should be in the chamber.
Asuka versus Bayley from Monday Night Raw, another good match for Asuka. This seems to be the approach now. Last week had the really good match with Sasha Banks. This week had the really good match with Bayley. Wins with the armbar submission. Sasha says that she's got no advice for Bayley before the match. I kind of, even though this was the most kind of skit-looking thing on the show, I did enjoy the interaction between Bayley and Sasha before the match. Like Sasha hinting that, I've got her number now. I know what the secret is, but not giving that away to Bayley. And then Bayley kind of having the zinger there. Well, I've beat you before, so
right.
I enjoyed that part of it too. Where do you go with Bayley now? I mean, obviously she's going to be in the women's chamber match, so that's an opportunity for her to do some stuff to get over. I really liked Bayley in this match with Asuka. It was just, it was even in the loss, it was just a nice showing. Showed some good solid striking, some good back and forth, some good moves.
Even some good ground wrestling. I mean, like they slowed it down. Again, this match got decent time, on Monday Night Raw. They're starting to fill Monday Night Raw with wrestling. It's fucking insane.
Other stuff from anything else on the Bayley thing? Not too much other stuff from where we had the three-way to determine who is going to be the final entrant in the Elimination Chamber, the last pod to open between Elias, John Cena, and Braun Strowman. Elias getting the surprise victory there, pinning
Cena.
Awesome win.
Pinning Cena after Strowman hit the running power slam. And let's talk about this. So it's fun with Elias getting the surprise victory, right? We were all everybody was expecting Strowman because he's the big lumbering buffoon who probably doesn't have the gas to do a long Elimination Chamber match. Same thing with John. John Cena's old, but John Cena can still go. Whatever.
I kind of want to see Braun just fucking kick the window in from inside.
That'll probably happen anyway, right?
I'm sick of waiting.
There was a great thing somebody put on Twitter, a GIF, not even a GIF, but just a meme or picture of Braun Strowman tipping over the actual Elimination Chamber
podcast a couple of weeks ago. He's going to get pissed and just flip it over.
So yeah, Braun will probably just break out of his pod whenever he's ready. But yeah, I like the upset victory. Let's talk about the WWE trying to over-manufacture Braun Strowman just a little bit here. I like it when it was a little more organic, when he just kind of said, "Get these hands," and "I'm not finished with you," and he would just kind of say stuff, and it would come up and be kind of funny. But then WWE has to WWE it and script him to say the things over and over and do things over and over again. And this was kind of on display for me at the end of this match. So he loses, Elias gets the win, but it's all about Braun Strowman power slamming people and getting that one more time chant. And they did it at first, and he threw a couple extra power slams in there. They played the music, and then for no reason at all, no one was chanting. They faded the music, expecting the crowd to still be chanting one more time. The crowd was satisfied with a couple of power slams.
We were good.
We didn't need to see it, but they expected more power slams. They faded the music. Braun is pointing at his ear like Hulk Hogan, like, "Are you guys chanting? Are you doing it? No? Okay, I'm going to power slam him anyway." They get a little bit of a chant going, but not quite. So I don't like WWE forcing go ahead, leave Braun some time to do the extra power slams if the crowd is into it. But if they only want a couple, and that's fine, that's fine.
I think that's on him too. He needs to know when to make those judgment calls of.
Yeah, but I mean, when the guy fades the music for no reason, because like I felt like they were expecting something more. Like there was no reason to fade the music when especially there were no chants.
Right.
So I mean that part kind of stuck out to me if I'm being a little nitpicky. So
I mean, I have a couple questions, and I know it's been all over Twitter, but one, is he going to have his guitar in his pod? Two, will he have a microphone?
Well, he has to. He's just that
But
kind of entertainer.
just think about that. Just like
sing the whole
20
time.
minutes of just solid Elias.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
And that's when Braun kicks in his thing because he's fucking annoyed with it, and he's not really the last
and then
guy
everybody's in the match.
You're done playing music for me.
He's really the third guy in.
Only other thing from Raw that we didn't really mention was the Revival versus Finn Balor and Carl Anderson. Good TV match. Finn and Anderson get the win there. Is this a continued burial of the Revival, or do they still have some momentum here? And it was a good match. So
I want to think that they have momentum, but I'm a little scared for them because, again, like, they came in so hot the first time. They had overcome, like being the small guys. Like, they have the attitude. They've got the old school wrestling thing. They don't give a fuck. They wrestle the way they want. Derailed by injuries, and like you said, they had the burial at the 25th Raw, but losing to Finn and Anderson, that's not a bad loss. And again, like, a good TV match, for what they put on.
yeah, and I don't think they're losing too much momentum. And I think the idea too is keep Finn Balor over and the Good Brothers and get that thing over. And let's face it, the Revival are heels, and they want them to be heels, and heels are typically going to
You
lose.
could have him coming out and fucking with Finn in his Fatal 4-Way match. Like,
Exactly, yes. And that could continue on separate from all of that. So, yeah, good stuff. All right, let's switch it up. Talk some SmackDown Live.
Subject. Smackdown Live.
I can be a superhero.
I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Sigma.
I really got to take the Zigman thing out of there. The guy hasn't been on TV. Although, we're getting
Week,
getting him
baby.
next week versus the Baron Corbin.
The match we've all
What I
been
said
waiting
was,
for.
stop talking.
Yeah.
I'm glad his protest worked.
Whose protest?
Ziggler leaving, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. He
Or it doesn't, we don't.
he gave up the title, and then he came back in the Rumble for some reason and got eliminated. Anyway, why are we talking about it?
Yeah, let's go to something else.
Okay, let's talk this main event deal right off the bat. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. The
Never seen that before.
Never seen it before,
Never.
but the best friends going at it once again. Actually, I really liked the match. I hated the finish. AJ just getting in, Sami Zayn getting in AJ's face, and AJ just decking him and Kevin Owens.
See, this is like the only time I didn't mind that finish because AJ Styles is so fucking over this. He's pissed. He's just on the verge of snapping, and he did.
And Daniel Bryan coming out and making the ultimate heel move, making it a triple threat match for Fastlane. It's, I don't know. It's the Daniel Bryan thing becoming a heel isn't working, even though he's making quote unquote bad decisions or favorable decisions towards Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Shane McMahon's babyface-ness is quickly wearing off when he comes out and does opening segments like the one on SmackDown where he can barely get his words out. And I mean, who am I to talk about being able to speak in public? But I stumble all over myself all the time. But yeah, McMahon's acting is awful most of the time. Duly noted.
Duly noted.
But yeah, where are you guys at on this thing?
The whole feud?
Just everything?
The McMahon thing. The more so is the McMahon Daniel Bryan thing working.
No.
Even though Daniel Bryan's doing the heel stuff, making stacking the deck, quote unquote, not quote, but kind of pretty much stacking the deck against AJ Styles. Although AJ Styles should be the type of babyface champion that says, bring these fuckers on. I'll beat them. You want me to beat two guys? I'll beat two guys.
And that's probably what he's going to say next week.
Hopefully, he didn't say it this week.
But
anyway.
like you said, the problem is I don't think it's Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's doing everything he can to make it work. It's Shane McMahon stumbling on his words. He's just not. He's not camera ready, as weird as it sounds. He never feels like he's camera ready. Like, he always feels like he's too anxious. He's too revved up. He downed like 3 Red Bulls before he came out dancing with his fucking Michael Jordan shoes. Nobody cares. Like, it's hard to say. But I agree with Taco in the sense that I liked the finish of this match. Just like you said, AJ's fucking fed up and done with this shit. He was talking about it on the announce, saying that he was fucking done. He's like, the decisions with these two are affecting my life. I want that shit to be done. So plus it sets up an awesome triple threat because shit'll break down.
And the triple threat will be a good match, too.
I see what they're trying to do with their storyline. It's just the delivery is off. And I don't know what it is about AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. It's just they're just not clicking in the WWE. I haven't seen their matches outside of it if they ever had them, but there's just, I don't know. They just don't click with each other, and it's such an unfortunate thing because they're both amazing talent.
On the other hand, Sami Zayn and AJ have been killing
exactly,
it.
Yeah. So it's just, I'm looking forward to the triple threat match. It's kind of something. It's like, well, why don't we just do this at Royal Rumble, though? And kind of move on from that from then.
Well, they're just kind of in stall mode till they get to WrestleMania.
I wasn't so butthurt about the Shane McMahon shit on SmackDown. It was just whatever. He is what he is.
That's kind of
the whole highlight was AJ Styles. That was such an awesome promo when he came out. Just music hits, gets to the ring, says his shit, and goes right to the back. Like we were just saying, he's like, I'm over this. What the fuck is going on with you guys?
Talk about speaking for the audience too, coming out and saying, "Look, I'm tired of you doing your thing, Daniel, and quite frankly, Shane, you too. I'm tired of this crap." So, I
just love that AJ Styles is completely fed up with this shit, and then we got the best friends match or whatever, and him just snapping in the middle of it. So yeah, it's fucking awesome, and. I even liked fucking Kevin Owens in the middle of the match saying like, I win the titles, me, like just screaming at him. So
also telling him to settle down. Yeah, settle him down. Hey, tell him to settle down.
Charlotte versus Liv Morgan. This is going to be
this was entertaining,
ongoing thing between Charlotte taking on the Riot Squad members. The ref ejects the Riot Squad after the skullduggery at ringside.
Skullduggery.
And then Charlotte gets the figure 4 with a bridge, also sometimes known as the figure 8. She says 1 down, 2 to go after the match. I agree. I thought I was entertained by this.
Well, I was just entertained in her. I mean, yeah, they gave Liv Morgan a little bit of offense, but obviously during the commercial break. But Charlotte just beating the shit out of her at the end, showing, because again, this is the number 1 person in the squad. The second person might give a little bit more trouble, but like this is the first person. You got to take that person down till you get to that main event person.
And Ruby Riott already has that win over her.
Yep. And they're building up to another match between the two, so that'll probably be the payback women's championship match.
This is like the proper way to do some of these, I don't want to say squash matches, but to do a squash match in a sense, to build up to someone like Asuka, she should just be top talent all the fucking time.
Bludgeon Brothers took on a couple of guys, beat those guys with the up is down, down is up, the crucifix powerbomb. The Usos make their entrance as the Bludgeon Brothers are leaving. So it looks like they're kind of building up to a match between those two. The Usos then cut their promo this week. Now, I want to give the Usos a little bit of slack here because they're out there cutting a promo, but they don't really have a subject other than themselves. They're not cutting a promo on anybody specific. Now, last week they did the Uso penitentiary thing. We didn't really talk about this with the lockdown gate closing sound effect graphic thing.
That's what I was just saying, this post Royal Rumble update they did with Raw and SmackDown. It's I enjoy it. There's a new definitely presentation about it, but the fucking words coming across the screen a little bit too much.
Man.
Last week when the Usos were just kind of doing the phone camera thing and they were kind of their promo and those words are popping up. I was like, I like that. That's new, but they were doing it for every fucking promo, and then this week Dan and Bryan coming out doing the yes stuff. They have fucking yes popping up on the corner screen. It's okay, stop it.
Yeah, the graphics were a bit obnoxious. But I want to talk about the Usos promo this week because again, they're in a tough spot. They're being challenged with go out there and talk about yourselves and get over. So okay, it's hard because I think half the crowd still thinks they're heels, even though they're presenting good babyface arguments. I did really like this portion of their promo this week.
Usos, I'm talking about we went from face paint
to snapbacks.
We went from rainbow colors
To white and black.
We went from wrestling tights
To the all whites.
We went from they might be all right
To yeah. We had match of the night. Woo!
So I like what they're doing. Again, it's a tough spot to just go out there and talk about yourself. Like, they're really good at talking smack when they were talking shit about the New Day, about other tag teams.
That's
Benjamin.
them, though. They should be out there. I'm glad they actually cut that promo, because literally as they were coming out, I was like thinking in my head, I was like, man, I just fucking not like these guys. Oh, now they're one of like my favorite tag teams to watch.
Right.
And then they cut that promo. I was like, get the fuck out of my head. But no, they should be out there. Like, like, that's just the top talent thing, is talking about yourself, because you're the shit, day one-ish. Like, you're fucking on it, and that's their mentality, so they need to be out there talking about
They were
them.
fighting a headwind in my little world, because, like, right before the commercial break going into that segment, Tom Phillips or somebody was like, coming up, the Usos are going to talk about their street life. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to be awful.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm when they start cutting their promo, I'm sitting there with my arms crossed and my brow furrowed, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well,
so they won me over, thank goodness, in the thing. But when you got that kind of setup going for you.
Well, I'm thinking they got the idea from, I think it was Jimmy or Jay's DUI arrest.
Sure.
Because, someone made the jab of, you slept on a hard concrete floor and you got out of jail. It's a DUI, man. But it's just like, I think that kind of sparked it in their head where, hey, let's take this situation, because people are obviously aware of it, and we can twist into this big promo. And, it's just, that's how those minds need to work.
Sure. So, yeah, I liked their promo.
I like them interrupting the Bludgeon Brothers 2 weeks in a row, too. Like,
Well, was it the first time? Didn't the Bludgeon Brothers
On their way
interrupt
out,
them?
okay.
It was just the opposite, but basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
But like that, they're showing, like, we ain't intimidated. Come on in.
Yeah. Then we had Daniel Bryan's. Well, it wasn't Daniel Bryan's top 10, but he presented the top 10 list. Apparently, all the superstars voted on who is the top 10. Ty Dillinger at, of course, number 10. Randy Orton, Becky Lynch, the Usos, the New Day, Bobby Roode, Naomi Nakamura. Of course, yes, Bob Roode. I'm sorry for messing that up.
Bob Roode.
I love that Hayden English says it too now.
Yes. And they called him Jim Uso as well. So the AJ and Charlotte were number 1 and 2, of course, champions.
No Rusev?
No Rusev.
No Rusev, which Rusev should have beat Ty, by the way.
Oh, yeah, really.
I don't know if this thing's a work. I don't know what it is. What's the point of it? We did have Orton attack with RKOs out of nowhere. Where was that? That was after Rusev and Bob Roode.
Someone was speculating too online that obviously it's has to be part of a work, but the only reason why Ty Dillinger would be on there, being number 10, is at house shows, I guess he's been like, don't do that, no, like anti-10 gimmick and everything.
Oh, really?
Everything that I've been wanting out of him, because he's not a perfect 10. And he even, I guess he had I couldn't see it because he blocked me, but but he tweeted out like number 10, well, I need to work my way to that number 1 spot. So he's kind of stepping away from that 10 thing a little bit. So, this might be, something for him to work into, because, like I've said it for many weeks now, dude's not perfect 10. We need to get over this fucking 10 thing. Like,
well, it's the same thing with the yes and no chance with Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying it's ever going to turn into that, obviously, but like, for a while there, he's chanting no while all of the people are chanting yes at him. He's the heel. He's like, no. So like Taco said, have Ty Dillinger turn his back on the 10 thing, and people are just going to go fucking crazy on it.
We'll see, man. That's the only thing he has, and he hasn't shown much else.
It sucks, man.
So
I've made some really bad picks.
We'll see.
Well, it sucks that Mojo Rawley has more than you, dude.
We did just briefly mention Rusev taking on the United States champion.
Bob Roode.
Bob Roode does get the win with the glorious DDT. I liked the finishing sequence here in this match. Nice back and forth stuff there. And then, of course, after Orton sneaking in, getting the RKO out of nowhere on
Bob Roode.
But what do you think? Rusev not getting the U.S. title, that's probably okay. Bob Roode just won it.
Bob Roode.
But where do you go with Rusev here? Do they go for did him and Aiden go for the tag titles? But I like what they're doing. I don't know.
It's tough because I want to see him with a championship belt around his waist.
I need babyface Rusev with the United States title.
WWE hates you, so it's not going to happen.
Oh, that's true. Benjamin and Gable took on
Shelton
the
Benjamin.
Ascension. And to me, the story here was the big hot tag to Victor,
Right?
who ran around like a house of fire after getting tagged in.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't been able to show anything. He's got 30 seconds to make some offense before they lose. Might as well make the best of it.
Benjamin and Gable get the win, though.
I like their promo a
I was going
lot.
to say, yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
another one of those promos I liked in the back. A lot of these promos feel more like pro wrestling promos again, not like here's a script, go do a promo and action.
NXT backdrop.
Like I like that sort of cheesiness to it because it's just that's pro wrestling. There always needs to be a certain amount of cheesiness to it. Not
Sure.
everyone can be a fucking Stone Cold.
I think the biggest complaint about what they're doing now with the selfie promos or whatever is that some of them are coming off too scripted. But Benjamin and Gable are definitely pulling off, whether they're scripted or not. They're pulling off the gimmick. So there's that. Anything else from? Well, let's slide right into that mixed match challenge.
Change the subject.
That kind of falls in line with what happened on Tuesday with SmackDown. I didn't catch last week's one, but I heard about it. Whatever, we talked about it on the show. This week was Goldust and Mandy Rose, the Golden Roses or whatever it was, versus the married
Rose
couple.
Gold.
Rose Gold, yes, thank you. Nice. Versus Naomi and Jim Uso. This was, like I said, I didn't see last week's, but this week was a lot of fun, a lot of silliness, not a lot of serious wrestling, but just enough to keep it interesting. But I enjoyed it. I was entertained.
You could tell they're going, kind of looking at the groups on who's going to be like the first week's mixed match challenge was a little bit more serious of a match, and and then last week's had some comedy moments or whatever, and Alexa got the big win, and now this week it's just kind of you got the married couple against Rose Gold, who it's Goldust. What the fuck are you doing here in the first place? Kind of sense. So it's kind of odd, but God, I that combo, those two are so awesome. Like I wish they'd bring that out on Raw and just kind of let her get out of the absolution situation, because I know there's something there with that Rose Gold thing. They can do something for a few months there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They do the Naomi and Jimmy do the spot where they're hugging and then they're kissing each other's hand, and of course the team on the opposite end is mocking them, or not mocking them, but mimicking them. Say we're just as good of a team as you, and then finally Jimmy and Naomi lay the big kiss on the lips on each other, and so Goldust gets very excited. And I was thinking he goes for the big smooch, and then she smacks him in the face. And I thought that would have been fun, but instead it was Jimmy rolling
With
up
a quick roll
with
up.
a quick roll up, and then spoiling the kiss. He was, I was gonna get a kiss. So Goldust selling that was
and you could tell the crowd was totally digging on it too.
Yeah,
they're fun little things, and I'm having fun with these.
Yeah, it was fun. And then, of course, Rusev comes out and Lana come out after the match because they're going to be challenging. I forget who. Oh, they're. No, who are they challenging?
Elias and
next to?
Bailey.
Elias and Bailey, yes. But they did a little promo here because Rusev and Lana are the other married couple in this.
The best married couple.
Indeed. And they say, Rusev's like, look, we're not coming out here to kiss. We're not coming out here to sing unless it's one song.
Lana is the best. Lana number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one. Lana is the best. Lana number one.
I got such a kick out of Rusev
Oh, he's
doing
so
that little
great.
song and dance. So,
He's money, man. I'm telling you, he's money.
Yep. Put the United States Championship on him and build a guy from Nashville where he actually lives.
Oh, happy Rusev Day.
Oh,
Happy Rusev Day. Yes. All right, let's slide right into, of all things, and I haven't even brought I haven't had a full. We're gonna talk 205 live.
Change the subject.
You got a sounder?
I don't.
Oh, shit.
We haven't had that kind of commitment yet. But yeah, no, I did go back and watch last week's and this week's. We've got a tournament going on for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, noticeably, things are different because Triple H is in
Yes.
charge of
Yep.
205 Live. It's not just the fact that Rockstar Spud, a.k.a. what's his name, Drake something.
Hey,
or
how about
Maverick.
that? I want to bring
Drake-
that up on Raw for the fact that they talked about his name change, like on live television. Like
Yeah,
that
they-
seemed kind of awkward to me.
Yeah, it was awkward. It's just,
Like, why bring up Rockstar Spud at all?
I guess just the idea that this guy was known as something else. He's not just some guy we brought in. Because if you didn't know Rockstar Spud, maybe you'd heard the name. Maybe you...
His Twitter handle was Rockstar Spud too for like that little layover period.
Sure,
so
sure.
they might have just get that out of the way. You might be seeing this.
But I think it was just for the sake of, who the fuck is this guy? If you didn't know who this is, well, this was Rockstar Spud. Maybe I've heard of Rockstar Spud.
he was in that
makes
fucking
sense.
Broken Hardy thing.
Right. So yeah, maybe they were just trying to establish that connection.
King Maxwell pinned him.
And also, hey, let's not insult the fans that are paying attention, that do know who he is. I mean, even though it is kind of insulting changing a guy's name, but at least they're acknowledging that he had a different name. So I guess
I just thought it was something to bring up.
yeah, it was interesting because they don't typically in the past they just haven't.
Well, you could
brought it
definitely
up.
see how they're more lax today compared to when like Hideo Itami came in.
Right. Well,
Kenta?
yeah. Well, even him, they acknowledged his name at first, and then
into the transformation and
Right.
moved on.
Right. All right, so yeah, the 205 Live this week. It's all cruiserweight, of course it's all cruiserweight matches, but they're
Well,
all.
Goldust isn't on there. Like, it can be confusing sometimes.
It sure can
Dude,
because
Breezango's been on
anytime he's on there, it's like,
Weird question. Is Gold Dust a cruiserweight?
So it is all cruiserweight matches, and they are all tournament matches for the championship. So. One thing to note, yeah, okay, Triple H is in charge. It looks like they're going to be taking a more serious approach to this thing, which I'm all for. But it could be a little too late here too, because I mean it is at this point a pretty damaged brand. But you got me to watch this week, so there's that. And I tuned in before I realized that it was a Triple H production too. So I found out that out later this afternoon after I
I think it was just announced this afternoon.
Yeah, you're probably right. So I like that. It helps that between now and WrestleMania, that's all this is going to be. It's going to be basically another Cruiserweight Classic featuring
Awesome.
a tournament. So the big question is going to be, what does 205 Live look like post WrestleMania when there isn't a tournament going on, and how does it get treated? How serious is it? And if Triple H stays in charge, what does he do? So that'll be something to stay tuned for. But in the meantime, I'm down with the tournament. Should be a lot of fun. And we had a couple of really good matches this week. Kalisto versus Lince Dorado, a couple of luchadors doing their lucha thing. Kalisto winning with the botched reverse Rana and the second Salida del Sol. But yeah, like I said, I mentioned the botch there, but it was a fun, good match.
Very fun match.
Really good stuff. And the main event, Roderick Strong versus Hideo Itami. Roddy getting the upset win, I suppose you could say there with.
Well, everyone had Hideo and Clinton Dix.
Clinton Dix.
Alexander
going to the finals.
Yeah, going to the final. So that was a nice kind of surprise there, and it kind of brings up the question too, like who else is going to make an appearance in this tournament? Because they're not going to use all the same people.
Well, right, they are going to bring in. They got Mark Andrews coming in next week versus Tozawa. That'll be good.
What was his name? Alexis Bliss's husband, Buddy Murphy. He's been in tremendous shape, and he just said something like, "Oh, looks like I'm down to 205."
Oh, interesting.
Yep, and he's been tearing it up with Black on the tours they've been doing.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm trying to remember what the name was. I don't think it was Blake's name, but we'll get to more of this when we talk NXT. But the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is coming back
Yes.
too, so he could be a part of that. So, and I did see that. I did see a name from the past, from past NXT Stardom, but I don't know if it was Blake or not. So, and I don't want to say off the top of my head when I don't remember. But so that's interesting stuff that we can get into here in just a couple of minutes. I did like in the middle of the show between the two matches we had. Rockstar Spud. All right, why can't
Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick. I can't remember.
I actually like the name.
I keep forgetting Maverick. That's all. Drake Maverick was addressing Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. I loved this.
Yes.
Bit. Just talking like, Drew, you used to be like this great grappler, and Tony Nese, all you are is an 8-pack of abs. Who can like? We need to get back to our roots. And
I loved the specific line he said of, "That train has derailed."
Yes. So, I like him going back to that. Are you, Taco, afraid? Because I know you were a big fan, and a lot of people were. Like, Drew Gulak was one of the few saving graces of the last era of 205 Live. Are you scared of what's going to be going on going forward for Drew Gulak? Or do you think, like a true pro, he'll be able to adapt and still kind of get over?
I think he's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be fine. Like when everyone was still trying to be the in the serious roles, he's the one that came out and did it and kept eyes. He helped keep my eyes on the 205 product, and I don't know too much about it, but I guess this is something he was doing in CZW back in the day when they were doing all their fucking mayhem, blood, chaos, and here he is, trying to make it a safer CZW or some shit like that. So it's just like the dude knows how to hold his own, so he's gonna be a-okay. It's someone like Tony Nese I'm worried about because he has a great fucking look, but really boring.
Yeah, there's just nothing there.
The most entertaining he was when he was fucking dancing the Zoe Train, like I hate to say, but that Zoe Train shit, it helped a lot of those guys, and it did help the 205 a little bit, and it's such a shitty situation, but they're definitely turning it around, right now, and they know they need to.
Well, I suppose that means Nese will win next week then. So.
What are the matches next week?
It's Tony Nese and Drew Gulak and Mark Andrews and Akira Tozawa.
Yeah.
So,
I'm loving Tozawa in the back right now.
Yeah.
Just he's acting like a fucking mini Vince McMahon with the strutting walk and everything, and just when I become GM, you're fired.
I did. He went up to the guy in the
some
hallway.
stagehand.
And who's going to win the match next week? And he picks his opponent.
Right.
Says, you're fired. So,
Big old smile on his face.
Got a kick out of that. Yeah, Tozawa can.
His English is good, man. Real good.
Absolutely.
That I'd get one of those in.
Anyway, all right. Let's move along. Talk some NXT.
Change the subject.
NXT. Fun show from NXT this week, back at Center Stage in Atlanta for the TV tapings this time. Interesting that they didn't go right back to Full Sail, but I like when they do do different environments, and it's cool to see. It's always cool to see Center Stage. Brings you back to the old Thunder days of WCW.
Dear Lord.
But fun main event this week, Sanity versus the Undisputed Era in a tornado tag match. Now, we were talking as we watched this because it was supposed to be a tag team title match here versus Sanity and Undisputed Era. And I said, well, does this become a tag title match then, even though it's a six-man tornado match? And of course it's not. But it was funny because Regal billed it as, well, this is the last time. We're not going to do this anymore. So Sanity win. They still didn't get their tag team title match yet.
Right.
So it can't be the last time.
And they pinned the champs.
Right. So we'll have to get another match out of these two at some point. So Regal, I'm sorry,
Nope.
it's not over.
No, it's over.
But
it's never happening again, guys. Let it go.
I guess not. That's unfortunate. So who's next for the strutting Kyle O'Reilly? My favorite thing about Kyle O'Reilly right now, not only is he great in the ring, but anytime he comes out to that goddamn music, that music fits the way he struts out and starts strumming his championship belt, and just I love it. And then in the ring, like when he was like charging at whoever it was in the corner, he had this deranged look on his face, and he was running so hard. I was legitimately scared. Like, I'm gonna have nightmares about Kyle O'Reilly running at me in the corner.
Well, and he was the guy I honestly was most worried about coming to WWE. Bobby Fish had a personality. Too. Adam Cole, obviously he's fucking Adam Cole. But like Kyle O'Reilly, he was an amazing wrestler. What did he do for you personality-wise? Like, I was so worried, and he's stepping right into that role.
But I wonder if it's more because I was familiar with him outside of WWE. I wonder to the fans that aren't as familiar with Kyle O'Reilly if it's working for them. So
let us know.
Yeah, give us a little shout out on the internet or whatever.
What the fuck is the internet?
The internet is a communication tool. You use worldwide. Just fuck it up.
Done. Kill that
Where
bit.
is it? I gotta find the thing. There it is.
My botch.
You fucked that one up big time. Other stuff. We had the big Johnny Gargano returning to not Full Sail, but coming to make his post loss speech or whatever, which really good. It addressed the crowd, saying, I lost the match, but I gained your respect. Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas come out saying, you don't deserve to be out here. We're the champions. You lose. We always beat you.
We beat you 3 times.
Yes, you don't deserve anything. Get the hell out of here. Of course, Candice LeRae comes out, gets in Zelina's face, all of that. So it became, what do we got to do to get rid of you? What do we got to do to not face you anymore? Johnny Gargano says, one more match, and if I lose, I will leave NXT. So I guess that's what will be coming up at probably the next takeover at WrestleMania. Very interesting here. No Ciampa yet. It sounds like I didn't see a spoiler, but I did hear that we're going to get something from Ciampa in the coming weeks on NXT TV. So some sort of rebuttal speech or him doing or saying something. So Ciampa is coming. So I guess it's a matter of, does Gargano finally win the championship at some point? And at what point does Ciampa, or did I say Ciampa?
Yeah.
At what point does Gargano win the championship? And at what point, if not before, does Ciampa become involved?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, all I heard from Gargano was, I'm going to 205 Live after the next NXT TakeOver. See you later. I don't think he wins the championship.
Yeah, I want to keep that title on Almas. Like Gargano's great and everything.
Here's my only I need, and I feel like the world, the NXT universe, God forbid I use that corporate term, but I feel like us as NXT fans, we need closure on this Tommaso Ciampa storyline.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish they were taking care of that and then going back to the title almost.
So there needs. I mean, maybe. You can't take this up to 205 Live.
No.
I mean, you could, but I don't think it would be a good idea. I think you need to wrap this story up with a bow on NXT. I'm sure they have something in mind. I mean, certainly Tommaso could, quote, ruin Johnny's title shot again. Well, he didn't technically ruin it this time. Johnny lost, and then Tommaso attacked him after the match. So Tommaso could actually cause the loss. Maybe Regal grants one more match to Gargano. But yeah, that just screams a lot of Vince Russo too.
My botch.
So it'll be interesting to see how they work this thing out.
The one plus on bringing it to 205 Live, if that were an option, is the fact that 205 Live is on the network like NXT, so the following over wouldn't be hard. It's just about changing your day that you watch wrestling. So I see that as an advantage.
But
I don't want it.
Does the Smackdown crowd, who's not necessarily there to watch 205 Live, but some of them stick around, are they going to be familiar with the nuances going on in the I don't think they're going to be as invested in the Gargano Ciampa storyline as the NXT.
That's true.
It won't be hard for us as fans that are already watching it to move over to watching 205 Live, but I feel like that fan base that's the SmackDown audience that's there, yes, some of them will be, but I don't think the crowds would be hotter if they were pure NXT crowds, is what I mean.
And looking at the two, like I just said, like, I like Gargano, he's fucking great, but he's a 205 guy. Like those are the kind of hitters you need on there. Ciampa, he has main roster look and appeal to me. Like I feel like that dude can hold his own on there.
Yeah, interesting. I think if they didn't have a cruiserweight division right now, I think a guy like Gargano could fit in on a main roster, just like a Finn Balor, just like an AJ Styles.
Neville.
He's smaller. He's technically smaller than those guys, but goddamn, he's ripped.
No, 100%. Like, he could fucking go in there with the best. I'm just saying, with Vince McMahon, product-wise, he's a 205 guy.
And to be honest, now that Triple H is in charge of the thing, I have a little bit more faith of 205 presenting a guy like him.
I'm going to give him 75% effort to try to watch 205 Live next week. It's been at like 25, and it's not been successful.
I mean, because of this tournament, I just might have to make a sounder for it.
Well, we need the Roddy Strongs on there. We need the Rod Strongs on there. The Hideo Tommies, the Garganos.
The Hit Amis.
Like these, the original Cruise 205 crew. They've been doing they've been doing a great job with what they've been given, and I've been pounding on this since its inception, but it's not going to be an overnight success, and it's baby steps. It's going to take time. NXT took time, and look what Triple H turned that into. So it's in good hands now, and we're just going to need a lot more of these heavy hitters on 205.
All right, other stuff from NXT this week. Heavy Machinery took on the Sports Entertainers, Sabatelli and Moss, and this time Heavy Machinery got the win with the assisted power slam. The what do they call it? The squisher, the
compactor.
The compactor, yes.
Otis Dozovich, man. Let's talk Otis.
Just the way he struts around he just naturally walks like that.
Yep, just left, right, kind of like a Russian dance, for no reason.
Throwing his foot on the mat to get the crowd pumped up had me rolling.
And just the way he slaps his ham hocks around, just like,
dude knows how to move.
But the first time these two fought, it was one of the Sports Entertainers getting the win with the foot on the rope. They tried that again in this match. The referee, of course, caught them. They teased a little bit of dissension between the Maserati-owning superstars. The question is, if they break up, who gets their car? Because obviously they share the car. So who gets the Maserati?
They get their car. That's how it works.
I have my mind is kind of leaning. I don't know if they're going to split up, either one of them or both of them, but I think they need to team up with EC3.
Ooh.
They all have that mentality. That could be a good little fucking stable right there.
And I don't think
get those guys going with fucking Sanity or fucking Undisputed Era.
Another little stable, yeah. Interesting. And just to the point of heel babyface thing, that Tino Sabatelli guy, there's no way you could turn that guy babyface. He is just a heel through and through. Maybe Moss at some point, maybe, but that Tino Sabatelli is just such a shit face.
He just looks like a fucking asshole. Like he's
an Italian Del Rio.
And even like at the end of the match, after he'd kind of been betrayed, he has this look on his face, but he just looks like such a douchebag. It's just like, yeah, you deserve to get turned on, bitch.
Yeah. But I like that these guys
his cologne from the other side of the country.
I like that these guys are losing though, because that EC3 thing sticks out in my head, because he can help these two guys. Like, hey, I've been in your shoes. I've been in the NXT route before. I can help you succeed.
Shayna Baszler says Ember is scared of her. She says she won't grant a rematch to me. She's scared. She's not a fighting champion. Go tell her I said that. So, great job on the promos from Shayna Baszler. Obviously, Ember Moon said as much on Twitter, responded, accepted the challenge. You name the place, I'll bring the championship.
Oh, she's been fucking getting like I don't know how high of a reporter or what magazine. I should have kept track of that, but someone was out there and she was like, oh, I had such a great time visiting everyone at NXT except for Shayna Baszler. Like, so it's just like little things like that. It's like,
nice.
Awesome.
Next week, we are going to get Roderick Strong versus Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship. Interesting that he's going for the United Kingdom Championship, but also in the Cruiserweight tournament right now.
Completely forgot about this match. Like, I was already Roderick Strong's on 205 Live. That's where it's going. All of a sudden, this pops up, and I go, oh, yeah.
So, Pete Dunne probably going to get the win there. Aleister Black is going to be making an appearance back in action next week, as they said. Bianca Belair took on a Southern lady. The Southern lady tried to shake her hand with her left hand, which was awkward. Bianca Belair gets the win with the fall away power bomb. So
the alley oop.
Is that what they call
I just found out she has her own YouTube show and she makes all of her own ring gear.
I saw that as well.
Very
like
cool.
$30. So it's like I like that detail though. It's like, know your gear. That's great.
Well, awesome. Matt and Jeff Hardy made their gear for years, as far as I know, and probably still do.
Well, there you go. Well,
The more you know.
I just want to throw this out there because I feel like you're going to close it out. Do we
We're getting
want to
there.
talk about maybe who's on our fantasy leagues at all?
oh, I suppose we could. Let's.
I was kind of interested in what you guys picked.
God, I don't remember.
I'm trying to
See,
remember.
I
too.
had to send him a message just so I could get my team because I'm like I picked them so fast I don't even remember them all.
Well, I know I think I picked Brock as my champion.
See, I picked Almas.
I picked Miz.
I picked my number one superstar was Roman Reigns.
I also picked Reigns.
Trying to
I
remember.
think I picked Elias. Yes!
By the way, for you guys listening, this is the SLTDWrestling.com Fantasy League. The way it works is you pick a champion, a superstar,
Female star.
a tag team,
An NXT star.
and is there another one?
I think that's it. I've got my list all set.
My
right
tag
here.
team was Street Profits, so.
Nice. So anyway,
Bludgeon Brothers.
You picked all those wrestlers, and then if one of your non-champions wins a championship, you have to trade away a champion, so on and so forth. If you want to find out more about it, go to sltdwrestling.com. Really fun. It'll be really cool to see how this all plays out.
I'm enjoying myself already, and we haven't even really started.
Yeah. So I think for a tag team, God, I can't remember if I picked the Usos or
They're champs.
Bar. No, oh, you're right. Can you pick a tag team as your champion, though?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I didn't pick the Usos.
Because I asked if you could pick, because I wanted to choose Montez Ford out of the tag team as my single star, but he said I would only get half the points if they won.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
I can't remember who I picked for a tag team. It might have been New Day. It might have been.
See, I went with Bludgeon Brothers. They've got easy matches right now, and at least they're kind of forlaying into an
That's
Usos
a good one because they're
match.
going to get a lot of easy wins with the squash matches. I didn't think of that. Yeah. And then
I feel like I went with Bianca Belair for the women, too.
I
went with the up-and-comers for NXT.
Oofta.
I did go with Asuka myself.
I think I went with Asuka, too, just because, I mean, they're probably not
How
gonna
about who'd you
stop
pick
that
for
push.
your NXT star?
God, I don't remember.
See, I picked the Velveteen Dream.
I think for NXT, I picked Aleister Black.
say, I
I
might
definitely,
black
I definitely,
myself.
I definitely picked Aleister for
See, I went
NXT.
with a theme because my team's name is Too Hot for Your Mom. Because I am too hot for your mom.
My team name was the Striker Likers.
I went with the most generic thing because I was really tired. I'm just the best pro wrestling podcast co-host.
What? No, yes.
They said be creative, and I was not.
Your name should have been Be Creative.
Absolutely right.
All right, a couple other quick little plugs before we get out of here. There's a couple of local shows coming up that we're going to try to go to, at least Taco and myself, but I don't know if we're going to get to them. Like, I have a really wonky work schedule, but I wanted to mention them here because if any of you local listeners are out there and want to come say hi, just come up and say hi to us at the show. That'd be really cool to meet some listeners. So
I like candy, too.
yeah, and if you really want to get to Taco's heart, he likes chips. Chips. So
Salt and vinegar, those pickle chips from Old Dutch, best.
What I said was, stop talking.
So coming up
If I
this,
can get some crunchless chips, preferred.
I'm just going to turn Taco down here. So coming up this Friday, there's a show at the Eagles Club in St. Paul, Showtime Championship Wrestling. They're bringing in Jeff Cobb, which is really cool. So I'm really hoping to make it to this show. Like I said, this Friday, February 9th, at the Eagles Club in St. Paul, a place near and dear to my heart because I used to wrestle there as the Minnesotan. So it'd be fun to go back there and see some wrestling at that place. And then next Friday, the 16th, if you're looking for a Valentine's Day date, no big names on the show, but there's some cool local names on there like Airwolf. A newer promotion, Midwest All-Star Wrestling, is putting on a show at the Parkway Theater in Minneapolis. It'll be really interesting to see
theater, too.
A wrestling show at the Parkway Theater. So if I can make it to those, hopefully we can. So check those out if you're on the local scene. Come up and say hi, and don't buy anything from us. Buy stuff from the wrestlers.
Yes.
And actually,
Give them chaps.
And give them chaps and give them ducats. And I actually do have ordered some Best Pro Wrestling Podcast pins on the way. So if you see us at a local show, grab a pin from us and
Pins or buttons?
Buttons, buttons that pin on. But yeah, rock your Best Pro Wrestling Podcast button loud and proud, and spread the word about the show. So that's going to do it for the show today. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Follow the show at BPW Podcast. Facebook.com/Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Best Pro Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com if you want to advertise or give us money or something. We can definitely work something out. BestProWrestlingPodcast.com where you can find this and Strong Honor. Go to SLTDWrestling.com. Find the podcasts there, as well as the Fantasy League, the Predictions League, awesome fan articles, etc., etc. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at Joe BBWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Ah, that's a creative Twitter handle.
Right? I wonder who came up with that.
That's going to do it for this week. Bye!
Peace.
What? No, yes.
No, you fool! I don't get it! You can tell Dan has been working out. All about sets and reps. Titles. Worldwide! Knee to the face. By Brood.
I'm going to get this right one of these weeks. So
Nah.
Nah.
Remember how long it took to figure out Joe's name?
that was like an entire summer, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was wonderful.
I think we're already
It's like
doing...
there was the summer of punk. We got the summer of not Joe.
Yeah. John. Oh, John.
Alex, what do you think? Give me some audio there, Jeffrey.
Oh, I'll give you some fucking audio.